My name is Kyren, and it is spelled Kyren. I'm gonna get that very clear. Kyren. I've been kind of struggling with that lately because a lot of people still say him, his, but for me, it's more so like if you call me a girl, I'm fine with that, and I feel more comfortable with that. And it's hard to correct everybody you run into, because some people just don't understand. So I prefer her. Sometimes it really depends, but I really prefer her. Like if somebody says yes, she's working, and I'm like, okay, yes, so they get it, but sometimes my family still says him, his, and I'm just like, yeah, that we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I grew up in a very small town, rinky dink, so they say. I'm originally from Springfield, Ohio. The crime there has gotten so bad. It's just so crazy. So growing up was tough. Bullying was definitely I feel like social media has really taken it to a higher level. But back then there was no social media, so you were literally getting beat up after school. And so I had to learn how to fight really, really fast. Probably around when I was maybe 7 or 8, I was like, you know what? That boy's kind of cute. And I didn't even really know, how to express myself at that age. So I didn't have like a coming out story like some people do when they're like 7 or 8 telling their parents like, hey mom, I like boys. For me, it kind of was like 16. I kind of was just like, I went and bought a wig, literally. And this is when I still looked fairly young, and I didn't have to put on makeup. Age will catch you. Remember that. It's catching up. And so I remember just coming downstairs in a wig, and I just kind of looked at my mom hey, and so it kind of went from there. So I really didn't have like a really bad coming out, although me and my father didn't speak for years. We recently just got back on the track where he's like accepted me, and he's kind of like really defensive of me now, and it's just kind of strange because it's funny how the tables turn. And I don't know where that epiphany came from, but we weren't getting along for years, and let him tell it. He'll tell you it's not because I was gay, but you can't convince me otherwise. We're talking like early 2000s here, where I feel like being gay was more so tolerated, more than accepted. So, growing up for me was okay. My parents divorced. I always lived with my mother. And my mom, I really commend my mother on never teaching us prejudice. I grew up in the South, moved to Ohio, and then I never heard my mom say, oh, look at that gay girl, or look at this person, they look weird. She always taught us, don't stare, don't point. We see people, when you're a kid and you see somebody with no arm, the obvious thing is to point. My mother always said, that's how they are. You better not stare. So I really appreciate that, because when I got older, it was easier for me to understand who I was, because my mother never put it in my mind that these people were to be hated. So when I became a part of the community, I was just like, you know what? My mom really did that, because I was like, at least I know she's going to be cool. Let me figure out what I want to go with, and then you follow suit. I feel like with parents and even with people who are older in your family, they don't really understand, because they grew up in a different time. Your parents were born in the 60s, 70s, and they grew up in the AIDS era and all that, so it's an immediate fear, I believe. But if I could tell him, I would be like, call me her, please and thank you. You see how I look. You see how I dress on the daily. So I would really kind of appreciate that. As far as me do I consider myself still his son? I can still consider myself his son, only because we do have those like intimate talks, and I feel like for his comfortability, it's okay for him. If that's what he wants to call me, it's fine. I know he's not doing it out of disrespect. I love my parents, and so I know they're not doing it as a malicious intent. And so it's for their learning curve, I kind of go with it. As far as like other people in my family, no, we're not playing that game. You heard what I said. But for at least for my dad, at least, like when he says, yeah, this is my oldest son. Even when I was at graduation, yeah, my son graduated today. Mind you, I have a dress on. My hair is all colored. Because sometimes I rock a fade. My little Amber Rose. But, he said, I'm going to my son's graduation. I didn't take nothing of it. I'm the first person to graduate college. And so for him, that's his moment. So I understand that. But if I could rewrite it and have a blank slate, just call me her. For sure. Be your authentic self. For me, that means no holds barred. This is who you are. Either people gonna like it or they don't. If you don't like it, tough. When you're gay, trans, non-binary, people automatically have a stereotype against you when you enter a room, especially if you're going into a room of heterosexual people. So they instantly expect you to be like, yes, honey, yes, And I do that sometimes, but that's really genuinely not me. I'm really, really chill, So even if I was to do that, that is me being my authentic self, and you need to respect it. I think it comes down to a respect thing. It's not even really so much more like me being myself. It's just that you need to respect it. I'm being authentic and true to myself. I think if respect was a conversation that everybody could have and everybody could meet on the same level, I really think things would run so much smoother. Being authentic to yourself is the key, because when you laying in your deathbed, you can sit and say, you know what, I was myself all the time. I didn't care what nobody thought, and I'm a go at peace. And it's just one of them things. It's just like you have to live your life with no limit. If you put walls in your life, you're going to live in that wall, and then you're going to be 40 years old and be like, you know what, I wish I would have. And nobody wants to hear that all the time. When you live in the South, it's a different ball game. If you're not in Atlanta, because everybody like, oh, Atlanta the gay mecca. If you're not in Atlanta, trust me, you are not welcome anywhere else, with maybe the exception of Miami. I lived in South Carolina. How more country could you get? But I'm talking about sticks and sand roads, honey. Red clay, lizards, owls, foxes. I'm all with it. So when you're living in the South, you definitely are raised to really be reserved. Because, the South people are like, oh, we don't do that. Whatever. And for me, when we moved to Ohio is kind of like in between. Very low acceptance of the gay community unless you're in Columbus. I think everybody probably knows about Columbus, Ohio. If you don't live in Columbus, good luck. I remember being at the gas station one time, pumping gas. I'm minding my own business, got my honey bun, knowing damn well I ain't supposed to be eating it. But I got my honey bun, I got my Arizona, and it's just like, you getting catcalled. Get your gay ass out of here. Stuff like, it's crazy madness. And I felt like I either need to move to New York or I need to move to LA. To be able to walk down the street and people are like, where'd you get your shoes? Oh, I like your hair. I love the compliments. But other than that, it's so much acceptance here. No matter what part I go to, whether it be Harlem, Manhattan, Brooklyn, it doesn't matter. And I always feel comfortable here in New York. And I never got that comfortability in Ohio. Never, ever, ever. I'm a fighter. So I don't want to be in a situation where I'm like, you know what? Let me go pop the trunk on you. I don't like to get like that. But I feel like sometimes you have to. Because people really push you to the edge. And, it's gotten to a point where I can't be all peaceful all the time. Because I don't ever want nobody to think that they can just push over. Like, oh, we'll beat him up when he come out of here. Or we'll beat her up when she come out. Okay. We'll see. Yeah. When I really, really, truly realized that I can really authentically be myself, it was my best friend in college. I remember he cut his hair off. He used to have long, he had a wrap. Beautiful. Beautiful hair. He kept it so healthy, so good. And I remember seeing him on campus one day, and it was gone. And he had on hair. He didn't have no hair on. He had on lipstick, makeup, foundation, highlight. And I said, you know what? he looks damn good. I was like, I can do it too. And I realized, and then from then on, literally, because he graduated the year after, and then so from then on, I was like, you know what? It's okay for me to be bald head and wear lipstick. I was like, and I never thought that it would be like, I'm like, but no, people are doing this, and I can do it too, and I look good. So it's like, even when I put on hair, and I feel like at one point, I felt like hair defined me. And that's why I had to be more comfortable with myself and my pronouns, because at one point I did not feel like, a girl or whatever the case may be if I did not have on hair. It was to the point where I was like not leaving my house. Like, I'm like, no, that wig is bad, girl. I can't go out. That wig don't look no good. And yeah, and it's kind of liberating to talk about it now, because I didn't even realize that until you brought it up, that I really felt that way at one point in my life. And I would say for maybe about 2 years, like my freshman and sophomore year in college, I literally would not leave my dorm without a wig on. It wouldn't matter, because that's how I identified as being feminine. I'm like, this is what girls do. And so it wasn't until maybe like my junior year when I seen my friend that I said, you know what, I can still be feminine and not have any hair. And so that was a new journey for me. And then for a while, I didn't wear hair. Now I was on like this liberating thing. Oh, I don't need no wig. So I was kind of like liberating myself. And then just recently now, I just started getting back into wigs and weaves. But sometimes I don't feel like putting on no wig. I remember having a conversation with my grandmother, and I'm really close to my grandmother, but we had it out about this. And I ended up apologizing because I realized I may have acted rashly. But I remember somebody had passed away, and she said, and I quote, well, I don't want you wearing no dress or nothing to this funeral. I had to double look at the text. I'm like, is she talking to me? Like, so I text back, and I said, what happened? And she was like, I don't want you going to this funeral with a dress on, or I don't want you wearing no wig or no makeup. And I was offended. I said, oh, no. And I texted her back and I said, well, you know what? And I believe I called myself a derogatory name, because I wanted her to realize the impact of how ignorant that sounded to me. So I called myself something I can't even remember. But I said, yeah, that way. And so she was like, well, I didn't mean it like that. I said, oh, no, you did. Because I'm a firm believer in saying what you mean and standing on it. Don't try to take it back now because you think you hurt my feelings. You should have thought about it before you said it, because you knew it was wrong to say. And I said it took me a very long time to be comfortable with myself. Very long. Fighting and doing this and this and this. And I said, and I'd be damned if I let you or anybody else convince me to fit your norm, because that's what makes you comfortable. I'm not here to make you comfortable. At the end of the day, I live my life. I pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? This is my life. You don't get to tell me what to do with my life. I don't tell you what to do with yours. End of conversation. I said, and if we do have this conversation again, we might fall out. Because at the end of the day, this is me. I love me. And I refuse, like I said, I refuse to let somebody strip my confidence away. It took me so long, so long, for me to even be comfortable to get out of my car like this and not care what people think. So I do not play with that. As you can tell, I got real serious, but I do not play with that. That's very serious to me. I feel like a lot of people sometimes overstep boundaries when it comes to trying to put their norm onto your life. And it's just like, you don't know what I go through. Even if I was heterosexual or normal, I still would go through a different experience than you. So you can't tell me what to do with myself. I had the same conversation with my mother and my brother. My brother, he's really protective of me, so he apologized. But my mom, I said, how dare you tell me you don't want me wearing no dress at your wedding? Are you kidding me? I'm not telling you what to do at your wedding, so what, are you ashamed? Now I want to get down to the bottom of it. Like, where does that come from? Because any other time, it's okay. But since this is your day, now it's a problem all of a sudden. So you must be afraid of what somebody else is going to say. And if that's the case, tell me that. That's a general fear. But don't disrespect me. When you tell me you don't want me to do something, you're disrespecting me. And my confidence comes from within. It took me a long years, literal years, from probably 19 until I was maybe about 24 to actually be like, all right, this is who I am. If you don't like it, tough cookie, you know, moving on. Vanity is a big problem, I think, with gays. I feel like, and I only say that because recently I've gained a lot of weight. It's weird to even say that out loud. But recently I have gained a lot of weight, and I really kind of noticed how maybe some people talk to me and then some people don't. And I kind of realized, I'm like, but you liked me when I was skinny. Whatever skinny means, because that's very relative as well. Like, people have their own definitions of that. But I really feel like vanity is a pressing issue. Aside from like other political things, I feel like within our own community, vanity is a big problem, because I think people are scared to like and love people because they're afraid of what other people think. So if you're with somebody who's trans, if you're with somebody who's feminine or non-binary, they're afraid of what somebody else is going to think. Oh, well, how you with a trans person? Like, how that work? How you with somebody who dressed like a girl? Why not go get a girl? And it's like, that's so stupid. It's like, does that even make sense for you to say that out loud? Like, I think that's a big problem. I think people need to love people for who they are, size, shape, color. It doesn't matter. If you like that person, you like them. And so I really would like to see that change, because you go to these prides and you see these men with these six packs and all that, but it's like, where are the full figure people? There's some good looking heavy set people out there. Where they at? Some good looking thick people out there. Maybe I get into that. You won't know. Why? Because you're catering to the norm of these 6-pack, 6'4" men, or whatever the case may be. Where are the trans people? Where are the feminine people? Where are the non-binary people? Where are they at? When I talk to younger gays, I'm always telling them, be yourself. You know, because bullying is such a problem now. And it's only gotten worse with social media. And I feel like I always want to promote being self-aware and being, you know, preserving yourself and being yourself no matter what people say. You know, so I think those are like the best parts of me. And I think I bring a lot to other people's lives, you know, because a lot of people can relate to my story or not, or, you know, but I always want to at least give somebody the chance to understand me.
When?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. She says that, but we've been waiting.
If I had Sis's number, I'd be like, so what's up? Like,
it's been 3 years.
Has it really since Anti?
Yes, it's been 3 full years.
You know why I don't think that? Because I still play it to this day.
No, me too.
So it's like,
album. I went to the concert 3 times.
I went to the Formation concert. It was my very first concert.
Okay, that's
what's
up.
Yeah, and let me tell you something.
I can only imagine.
Beyonce, money well spent.